Bom dia, Winter Hotel?
Bom dia, eu gostaria de falar com Kenny Garrett.
Kenny?
Garrett.
Garrett é o sobrenome, né? Um momento, por favor.
Ok, obrigado.
Contato com a nossa central de reservas. Bem-vindo ao Windsor Excelsior Hotel. É um prazer receber sua ligação. Welcome to Windsor Excelsior Hotel. Thank you for calling. Localizado na região mais nobre de Copacabana, em frente a uma das mais belas paisagens do mundo, o Windsor Excelsior possui serviços diferenciados em um ambiente charmoso, moderno e elegante.
Desculpa, senhor, como Garden eu não consegui localizar. Qual o primeiro nome?
Kenny Garrett. O sobrenome é Garrett.
G-A-R, né? Tá, só um minuto. Kenny Garrett.
Kenny Garrett.
Ah, tá bom, então.
E o Pão de Açúcar. Conheça nosso restaurante e sua criativa culinária. Dentro de instantes, lhe atenderemos.
Recepção Magna?
Olá, gostaria de falar com Kenny Garrett.
Tá, só um momentinho, ele estava no café da manhã, ele acabou de subir pro apartamento, eu já transfiro. Só um segundinho, tá? Não dá o tempo dele chegar lá. Um minutinho.
Deixa eu ligar daqui a 5 minutos, então.
Oi?
Eu ligo em 5 minutos, então.
Tá. Eu posso tentar transferir agora, só um minutinho. Ele já deve ter chegado lá.
Ok.
Um minutinho.
Rio de Janeiro, agora em Brasília. Visite nosso site www.windsorhotels.com. Confira os benefícios exclusivos para reserva no site. Para parcelamento de diárias em até 3 vezes, entre em contato com a nossa...
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Kenny Garrett on the phone?
This is he.
It's a pleasure talking with you. I'm Daniel Tavares, and I'll be interviewing you for screening me out about the shows that we are going to do in Brazil.
Okay.
Okay? I am recording this call, so you're aware of that. This is because this is not going to be aired anywhere, but I need to record so I can transcribe it later. Okay?
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, so can you start? Hello?
Okay, we can start.
Okay. Please, my first question obviously has to be, it's about the shows that we're going to play here in Brazil, what the fans of jazz and good music and Kenny Garrett, of course, can expect of these shows.
Well, usually what I like to do with the music is, we travel around the world, and I like for people to experience the same music. So we'll be playing music from Do Your Dance, which is my latest CD. We'll be playing music from, like Pushing the World Away. We'll be playing music from Seed. So we take from a lot of different CDs, and it really just depends on, the feeling, because we're here, and, it's a nice environment, and the people are nice. So, we want to have a great time, but we also want to have, some fun. So we're going to play some serious music, have some fun, and, take the audience on the journey.
Okay. And you've been here you arrived yesterday and you will be here for about a week. How are you liking this trip? What do you like, especially in Brazil?
Well, this is actually my first time being able to stay in Brazil longer than a couple of days. So the main thing is that, we've been traveling, so I just need some rest in the beginning. So I just trying to, but what I would love to, to check out some music. I'd love to hear some traditional, some bossa novas and different things, go to some schools, and that's what I love to do. But I think as far as, here just really taking the sights and the food and, the people and, just trying to get a feel of what to be expected, from the show.
There are some influences of Brazilian music. I always ask this to all the people I interview about Brazilian influences, Brazilian artists that the artist likes. For example, there's a song called Bossa and Do You Dance? What more do you know? What do you like in Brazilian music?
Well, Brazilian music is really rich. I haven't listened to as much as I listened to over the years at the beginning, my career, but I used to listen to a lot of Brazilian music. I think it's when I first came, I bought like 3 books of Antonio Carlos Jobim's, melodies. Of course, I've had experiences with different people. We came here one time with Marcus Miller, and we got a chance to play with, Javon. So we played. I played some of the music, but I think for me, is that it's I kind of slip sometimes, on different cultures and things. Right now I'm really checking out a lot of more Afro-Cuban music because I'm doing a lot more gigs there. If I'm playing with musicians who are natives of the country, it really helps, because then you can play the music correctly. Sometimes in American music we're actually imitating what we hear of Brazilian music, and the rhythms and the harmony and things, But I think it has a rich history. Brazilian music has a rich history. And I still study, but like I said, it varies because I'm going through a lot of different places and the music. We're in sometimes we're in Europe, and sometimes we're in South America, sometimes we're in Africa, and I just draw from all of that. And it depends on where I am, what situation I am at that time.
Okay. And you have played with names such as Art Blakey, Herbie Hancock, Miles Davis, Chick Corea, some of the greatest names in jazz music. You also played in Duke Ellington Orchestra. How did you feel when you first met all of these persons? What spoke louder to you? Who were you at the time? Were you more a fan of them, or were you a musician, a mate, a fan, a colleague?
I think, and when I look at, my experience with Miles Davis, Miles was a teacher, and I was just there as a student learning. I also brought something to the table, but at that time I wasn't really looking at it that way. I was just looking at it's an honor to be able to play with someone like Miles Davis, because Coltrane played with him, Cannonball Adderley played with a lot of the great saxophonists were Sonny Rollins. So for me to be able to sit on the bandstand, of course, it was a privilege, but I'm always humbled by the experience of, Miles played with Charlie Parker, so you get a chance to hear some of that influence, the music that you grow up listening to, and the artists who are on that level. It's great, like I said, to really be able to play with them. And, now I'm in that position now that, I play with a lot of, I play with Miles Davis and Freddie Hubbard and Woody Shaw and Dizzy Gillespie. And so I'm able to bring some of that information and language to the younger guys who are playing with me. So that's how I kind of look at it. You're kind of passing on the music. But at the same time, for me, Miles is, he's always going to be my teacher, so that's how I look at that. With Chick, we're friends. We hang out. I call him. I play over the phone. I play piano stuff over the phone. He plays it back. We're colleagues, but, I'm learning from everyone, and they're learning from me, With the Duke Ellington Orchestra, it was a different. I was 18 years old coming out of high school, So it was a different experience, but I got a chance to, learn about Duke's music first and beforehand, not to just only listen to music from CDs or LPs. I was able to experience that. I played with Cootie Williams, and I can't think of any better musicians, from my generation who could play with Cootie Williams, So not only did I play with, with Miles and Dizzy and Freddie and Donald Byrd and people I played with Cootie Williams, So it's a different. It's fulfilling, to have learned about the plunge and also to play with Dizzy, who was the father of bebop, and then to play with Miles, who came from that era, and every generation, to me that's a great honor, to play with all those artists. But in the same token, I try to bring something to the table. Especially when I invite them to my recordings, I try to find something that will motivate them because they've been playing for years. After a while, you can become a little jaded in music. And I think, I tried to, I had, Bobby Hutcherson and Pharoah Sanders on my record. I wanted to write some music that hopefully would inspire them and want to play. So I guess when we all, as artists, we're always trying to inspire the musicians to come to play, want to write something or play something that will, allow them to go where they go in their zone. And that's what I try to do.
Okay, thanks a lot. And what do you believe that is more important to a musician, either jazz musician or any other style musician, technique or feeling?
I think you just study it. Just keep studying and learning about different cultures. After a while, you start seeing that the connection is so great, But for me, whatever style of music it is, you always have to study. I'm still studying now. Still learning music. So I think that's what I say for musicians, to stay open-minded and keep learning, because you're always going to learn until you leave the planet.
Okay, and talking about learning, you are a doctor, honoris causa, by Berklee College of Music, maybe the most known school of music in the entire world. What does that mean to you?
Well, that means that I've contributed to society, and they honor me for that. Like I said, it's a privilege, for them to give me an honorary doctorate. But I have a friend who called me Dr. Gary long before Berklee, so it was, I think it's an honor, but I just think it's something that I look at and I'm still studying and still learning. So it's, hopefully, if I keep contributing and they'll give me more honorary doctors. If they don't, then I'm still good.
Okay, about do you dance? How have you seen the welcoming to this album? And also there's a curiosity, there's a question. There's a exclamation mark instead of a question mark on do you dance? Would you explain me what you wanted to express with that?
Well, basically, how the concept came about is that a lot of times, we have a song that we play called Happy People. And then I started noticing that there are people around the world, some people wouldn't dance. I said, well, do your dance. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. If you only need to if you just can do the two-step or whatever dance you can do, you just do that. So I came to the concept of do your dance. That's really what it's saying. Okay, everybody's individual, and you don't have to dance like the other person who's a professional dancer. You can do whatever you're feeling with published music.
Okay. And how was this album recorded? Because nowadays, many artists, they record albums, one plays the guitar, one plays the saxophone in different days, different sessions, and then the studio mix everything together and the album is launched. But jamming, the encounter between musicians and they play along as long as they want, and then the improvisation. This is very characteristic of jazz. And so how was this album recorded? Was it recorded just like jamming live, or it was something like today many people do? Some people one day, some people other day.
No, that was all in the studio at the same time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Because what do you think about this kind of recording with people playing different days?
When you're dealing with, it makes it convenient. It cuts the cost. But I think for me, I always like to have music there at the time. Most times when you're recording some music and maybe using synthesizers or something, you can put it together and then have the person just put their part. But I don't think it's not really a true communication about, even though we can interpret music, but I think it's, for me, I prefer to just do it where everybody's in the studio and we're playing at the same time. But I have done recordings where people have sent me, the track is almost finished, it's okay, I want a sax solo here. I've done that. And, I try to talk to them and understand what the song is about, how free they want me to be, because if they call me as Kenny Garrett, I can come in and I can play the way I play. If they call me as Kenny Garrett, I still want to say, okay, what did you hear? Conceptually, what did you hear? Because they're the artists, they know what they would like to hear. Because I've done sessions where, I can come in and maybe I was listening to John Coltrane and I come in and I'm doing maybe like a pop session. It's like, well, that's what I'm hearing. So if you tell me to be Kenny Garrett, you might get a lot of harmony going. You know, it's gonna get a little crazy. But I think mainly, like I said, I've done records like that, but for myself, I prefer to, to do them all together.
Okay, one last question before your message to the fans. How do you see the jazz in the big picture today, and the music in general, with pop music, soul music? How do you see the big picture of music business today?
Well, I mean, the music business has always been the music business. I mean, nothing's really changed from that. I mean, jazz has always been the music that's by a selected group of people. I think, we do a lot of, in the States and I guess around in the world, they have universities where people learn about music, but that still doesn't make it popular. I think it just, there's people who, they just, they aspire to, to play jazz, and everyone won't become those, these great jazz people. But I think the thing about jazz is it's for a select group of people. Of course, as a jazz musician, we would love for the music to be popular. As Brazilian music was popular, as hip hop was popular, as pop music. But it's not like that, And even if you start to mix it with hip hop, or if you mix it with pop music, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be popular because it's something a little different at that point. There's a traditional way of playing jazz, and there's another way that you add, like popular themes. I do that, myself. But I think the main thing is that, what I would like for people is for people to just hear the music for what it is. And I've been fortunate enough that I can play all the different genres in the same set because my fans know that I love different, styles of music. So I never have that problem so much. But I think, as far as popular music is concerned and the way it's going, a lot of the music is influenced by, a lot of musicians now are doing hip-hop. There's nothing wrong with hip-hop. And, some guys are doing pop songs. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how the music came about. I think you just have to decide what works for you, when it comes to that. And I think for me, I've been doing this long enough that I've been mixing music for a long time, so I can't really say anything bad about people who are trying to do that.
Okay. It was a pleasure talking with you, and let's end with a message to Brazil and Brazilian people, and especially to those who will attend one of your shows here in Brazil.
Well, we've played Brazil before, and I think, it's just beautiful to be back, and I would like for the people to come out, let's have some fun, let's take a journey, hear some good music, and let's share some good times, let's share some memories.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day and do a lot of good shows.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.